We are live on YouTube, starting us up on Rumble. Good afternoon, hello, and welcome to This Day in History, aka TDH. I am, of course, Xander, and we are currently in the process of being joined by...
The Golden Loon.
Welcome, welcome. I saw you running in here.
Yeah. Didn't want to miss the intro. I usually do somehow.
Made it just in time. Yep. And of course, you they're always here for the intro. Today is Friday, aka Friday, January 30th, 2026. The show is about interesting and important events that occurred to date throughout the annals of recorded history, starting with in the year 1018, the Holy Roman Empire and Poland concluded the Peace of Bautzen. All right. Poland has just been, throughout all of history, just constantly getting, wars and all that stuff. So
conquered and independent
and reconquered and puppeted and all sorts of stuff. Man, those guys, you want to talk about tenacity, look at the Polish. 1164, English King Henry II passed the Constitutions of Clarendon, attempting to restrict power of the papal clergy in England. Only Thomas Becket objected, the beginning of their quarrel. All right. 1287, King Wariru founded the Hanathawadi Kingdom and proclaimed independence from the Pagan Kingdom. 1349, Black Death Massacre. Jews, except pregnant women and children, were burnt to death on suspicion of poisoning the community during the bubonic plague. In Freiburg, im Breisgau, Strasbourg, part of a wave of pogroms across Western Europe. We've spoken about Jews being burnt for this reason at least one or two other times before. I guess it's happened multiple times and everything. So, I mean, how many times does a people have to get their teeth kicked in before it starts becoming suspicious? 3409, Gunther of Schwarzburg chosen German anti-king. Anti-king? Well, I mean, we've heard of anti-popes and all that stuff, so I guess an anti-king is,
You could lose your head over that if you do it at the wrong place, the wrong time.
Very true. 1487, bell chimes were invented.
Bell chimes? Are
you
kidding me?
Nah.
Who would ever think about bell chimes? But they had to be invented at some time, and here it is.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, there's a lot of articles we're going to be reading in the show, and when you just take a step back and look at the past month we've done, it has been staggering, the amount of things invented, the amount of significant happenings and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Disasters, tragedies, jubilees. I mean, and that's all on a day-by-day basis. History is just jam-packed with so much fun and exciting things.
Every day.
Every day.
Well, it's the history of mankind, so
yep.
Every day something's going on.
Speaking of every day, moving on to 1607, we have an estimated 200 square miles, or 51,800 HA, I think, hectares. Along the coast of the Bristol Channel and Severn Estuary in England were destroyed by massive flooding, resulting in an estimated 2,000 deaths. Wow. 1615, Japanese Kaisho Embassy, the first to travel to Europe, headed by Hasekura Tsunenaga, met with Spanish King Philip III in Madrid. All right, and it's telling me to do image search this. It's a really interesting map of the travels that that this group did, actually. So I want to show this to you really quick. Right here. Oh, well, why is it so small? Open image, a new tab. Why is it so small? Why is it bigger in this one? What the hell? Okay, well, anyway. You
can see it better up there.
Yeah, let's see if it shows me. Here we go. That's a lot better. So it starts from Japan, and then it goes up, and then through 1613, they landed in the southern part of Mexico, northern part of Central America, and obviously there was no Panama Canal, so it looks like they traveled by land all the way across, and then went through the Caribbean, all the way to...
wait, how do you get your boat over there?
Well, I think they used different boats. They might have chartered boats because well, otherwise they did it twice, because they went all the way across the Pacific. Yeah. It looks like they hit California, and then went down, and then went across that area, and then they were in the Caribbean, went all the way across the Atlantic into Spain, and appears to, from the blue line, they went by land through Spain and ended up in Rome, and then they just doubled back and went back the way they came. So I think they must have chartered a second ship on the other ocean, or something.
I don't know if you just have ships hanging around to charter.
Well, the 1600s, the Caribbean was a bustling thing.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's still like
It
really
makes sense because they come back and they use their original ship to go back.
Yes, rather than physically. And as I showed you, like in Europe,
the only time you can go around is the Cape of Good Horn down there. Is the only way you can get around other than that.
I don't think they were doing it back then.
No.
But from the map, like I'm going to bring this up again really quick, just so that way you can see it. But if you, right there, you see the blue line is traveling on land through Europe.
Yeah.
So I take it that they left their ship, the ship they chartered there, and then they traveled by land all the way into Rome, and then traveled by land back, and then got on the ship, went back across the Atlantic, went back by land, and then back across the Pacific. And in total, the trip took 7 years. Because it started in Japan, 1613, and then 1614, they're crossing the second ocean. They made it to Rome by 1615, 1616, they're crossing back. And then 1618, and then 1620.
We'll be back in 7.
Yeah. Awesome. Moving on up, 1647, after 9 months of negotiations, Scottish Presbyterians sold captured Charles I to English Parliament for around £100,000.
So what did they sell?
They captured Charles I, the king.
Okay.
Oh. Gee, that's heavy, Doc. 1649, Charles I of England was executed in Whitehall, London. Wait a minute, it's the same guy. 2 years later. So
really?
Yeah, okay. So I think he had fled. Because he started some. Because Charles I, like he tried to charge Parliament with something, and it was part of some kind of English Civil War or something.
So they paid to get him back.
Yeah, and then 1649, and that's interesting.
Justice could be served, I guess.
Yeah. And they have to have selected the calendar date on purpose, because it's on the same calendar date 2 years later.
Yeah.
1661, Oliver Cromwell, Lord Protector of the Commonwealth of England, was ritually executed after having been dead for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, they wanted to
ceremoniously.
Yes.
Okay.
Oliver Cromwell, he was an English politician and soldier known for the crucial role he played in the first formation of the Commonwealth following the English Civil War. So politics and everything.
Yeah.
From the other source, it says here, Oliver Cromwell, Lord Protector of the Commonwealth of England, was ritually executed 2 years after his death. On the 12th anniversary of the execution of the monarch, he himself deposed. Oh, hold on a second. What's 1661 minus 12? No, it wasn't that. Actually, was it?
49.
49?
1549.
1649. Oh, wow. Okay, so he deposed Charles I. We were just talking about...
Oh, okay.
So this is all connected.
Yeah.
What the hell?
How about that?
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, wow. What else do we got here? 1698, English pirate William Kidd took his greatest prize, the Indian merchant ship Quidach, merchant, upsetting English trade and causing a global manhunt. Yeah. 1703, the 47 Ronin under the command...
Wait a minute, it was William Kidd?
Yes.
And we had Billy the Kid.
Well, that was one D. This guy had two Ds.
I mean, come on. William and Bill.
True. Actually, yeah. That is weird.
Go ahead.
I'm surprised you caught that.
Yeah.
703, the 47 Ronin under the command of Oishi Kuranosuke avenged the death of their master by murdering Kirai Yoshinaka. And here's a picture of that. The 47 Ronin, the Japanese samurai code and all that jazz. Very strict. 1713, England and Netherlands signed the second anti-French boundary treaty. Okay. 1774, Captain James Cook reached a record 71 degrees 10 feet south, 1820 kilometers from the South Pole. So 1,820 kilometers from the South Pole.
He was quite the explorer.
Oh yeah, James Cook. Was he the one who the Hawaiians... Yes. He's the one that pissed off the Hawaiians so much they killed him.
Yeah.
On the Sandwich Islands, which
Sandwich Islands,
he discovered.
We talked about that.
Yeah. In 1790, the lifeboat was first tested at sea by Mr. Greathead, the inventor.
Oh, and what year?
1790. I mean, they had to have been invented at some point. The concept of a lifeboat, a smaller boat on your boat in case your bigger boat sinks or something. 1797, U.S. Congress refused to accept the first petition from a black Stadian. It's not nice. 1 year later, Representative Matthew Lyon of Vermont spit in the face of Representative Roger Griswold of Connecticut in the U.S. House of Representatives after an argument. And we have here a depiction of that. I love this. It's like you have this guy here with a stick and he's kicking. This guy is clearly unhappy with his own stick, or what appears to be a blacksmith tool or something. And this guy's over in the chair with a pen like, hey, get a load of this crap happening. This guy, his face is all sorts of screwed up. This guy looks like he's going to help. Everybody else is cheering in the background. And that guy in the chair is just having a good time. I love this. I love that picture. What else do we got here? 1800, Pope Pius VI embalmed remains were finally buried 5 months after his death in Valence, France. And while that was going on, the U.S. population hit 5,308,483, the black population being 18.9% of that at 1,002,037. Okay. 1804, Scottish explorer Mungo Park left England seeking source of Niger River. All right. 1806, the original Lower Trenton Toll Bridge, which spanned the Delaware River between Morrisville, Pennsylvania, and Trenton, New Jersey, was opened. A later bridge opened in 1935, also known as the Trenton, and made the world known as the Trenton Makes the World Takes Bridge. That's a weird name for a bridge, but this is an artist's depiction of the original one there. It looks like, and by today's standards, it looks really like basic, but I mean, back then, this must have been a marvel. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So, and they actually liked that boxy industrial design for a little while. 1815.
Sturdy.
Yep. The burned U.S. Library of Congress was reestablished with Thomas Jefferson's 6,500 volumes. So thank you very much, Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah.
1820, British explorer Edward Bransfield aboard Williams sighted Trinity Peninsula in Antarctica, claiming it for Britain. Of course he did. So, thankfully it didn't stick because of that whole treaty that we have. 1826, 2 centuries ago, the Menai Suspension Bridge connecting the Isle of Anglesey to the northwest coast of Wales opened, considered the world's first modern suspension bridge. And here it is. I think this might be the same one, because it's obviously a more modern photo of it, but the architecture.
Yeah.
It looks narrow.
You can't tell from that angle.
Yeah, but I mean, it was built way before the invention of cars.
Yeah.
So, but I see a car up there actually, like the top.
It looks like you have two
roads.
Tower, 2 roads, so it's not real narrow.
No, but I mean, like by today's standards, like with trucks and everything, trucks probably won't be able to. Or maybe European trucks will. U.S. trucks definitely won't. Which, by the way, have you ever noticed that European trucks are a lot smaller than U.S. trucks?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever wonder why?
Well, first off, petrol is very expensive, and they got a lot of small little roads in old towns and villages. So, what else is there? I'm sure there's something you've got under your sleeves.
Well, you had some of it right. It's not really the cost of gas. I mean, like.
Oh, it's very expensive there.
Well, yes, I'm not, but that's not the reason why the trucks are small.
Small cars and stuff they have.
Yes, but trucks. If you're shipping things, you don't care. You got to ship things.
Yeah.
But because of the narrow roads and small passages and everything, and mountain roads and everything, the U.S. trucks. Like are in between, because we have a truck, like the cab with the long hood, but then we have other trucks with a snub nose.
Yeah.
Those are designed to go through mountain passes because they don't have the whole thing in front and all that behind them to navigate. They're in the front, so now they just got to worry about navigating, with one thing behind them. So but it's all about navigation, as you were saying.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yep. 1835, Richard Lawrence misfired at President Andrew Jackson in Washington, D.C. in the first attempted assassination of a U.S. president. It says here it was failed and subdued by a crowd, including several congressmen and Jackson himself. So even Jackson's just like attacked him. And you know what that reminds me of?
Can't imagine. Oh.
Huh. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That's not the Black Pride Power Fist.
No.
1841, a fire destroyed 2/3 of Mayagüez, Puerto Rico. And once again, I want to reiterate the concept of mud flood and everything. If you look up any city, like in the world, especially a bigger city, and then just put in Great Fire of, there was a Great Fire, like within 50 years, like every major city, or within like 100 years, every major city, every like, you know, moderately populated area had some kind of massive disaster that wiped a lot of area. And there's a whole conspiracy because we're kind of seeing the same thing in a much smaller scale, you know, with Lahaina and Maui, you know, Hawaii, and the Palisades, and then those couple of places over on the East Coast that got obliterated by hurricanes and all that jazz.
Okay.
The same area where they weren't giving any help to people who voted
North
for Trump.
Carolina?
Yeah, that area and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Like erasure of history. You know, if you can get rid of records and documents, all you have is a few generations of hearsay, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and look at the Great Fire of Alexandria. You know, they got rid of all that library and everything. So, 1847, Yerba Buena was renamed to San Francisco.
What?
Yerba Buena was renamed San Francisco.
You're kidding.
No, so it used to be called Yerba Buena. Was the original name of San Francisco.
Son of a gun.
Yeah. 1854, the first election in Washington Territory, 1,682 votes were cast. So Washington State, before it was a state, the territory. 1858, Charles Haley founded Haley Orchestra in Manchester, England, marking the official founding of the Haley Orchestra as a full-time professional organization. I have no idea who they are, but that sounds interesting, so I put them in there. We also have 1858 as well. William Wells Brown published the first black drama, Leap to Freedom. All right.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Kind of bold, too.
Yeah. 1862, USS Monitor, the U.S. Navy's first ironclad warship, was launched. And we have here, it's really interesting. You have an artist depiction of it actually being launched. You know how they launch ships off of the
drawing.
Well, not a photograph, but yeah. But that's really cool. They usually, like, you'd have it like floating on the water or something. You wouldn't really depict it being launched.
Yeah.
But then again, it is the very first ironclad, and this was the one with the turret. Like the Confederates made their own ironclad, but that was like the pyramid style with the multiple cannon ports and everything. Oh. We had a turreted with 2 cannons. So it was the first one with a turret, and the first ship built entirely out of metal. Before that, they just slapped on plating onto wooden warships. But this was the first one that was straight up. Like, I think it was still like inside still made of wood before we completely went to metal. So, 1873, Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne was published in France by Pierre Julius Hetzel. 1883 as well. Okay, yeah, that was 1873. Then 1883, England team presented with ashes of a bale after Sydney test. So it's trash talking or something. This is cricket.
Oh.
So,
I had no idea.
We actually have quite a few cricket things because they sound interesting. 1888, Henry Moses.
That sounds interesting. You don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Well, Harry Moses, 297 not out for New South Wales against Victoria. Okay. 1889, Archduke Crown Prince Rudolph of Austria, heir to the Austro-Hungarian crown, was found dead with his mistress, Baroness Mary of Estura, in Maryland in an apparent suicide pact. That's suspicious.
That sounds fishy. I was just going to say that's just not normal.
Now, this one, as I said, I don't know what it means, so it might be important, it might not. 1889, Victoria beat New South Wales after following on. New South Wales all out, 63 needed, 76. Whatever the hell following on means. Okay. 1892, Bobby Abel carried his bat for 132 for England and STG test. What does carrying his bat mean? He's just walking around with his stupid bat. This is all cricket crap.
I understand that. Of course, He's walking around with a flat bat.
Yeah, not even a real bat. 1892, Captain Lugard occupied Uganda's King Mwana's hideout. Well, 2 years after that, pneumatic hammer patented by Charles King of Detroit.
Pneumatic.
Yes. Oh, here's a image of the book Around the World in 80 Days.
Oh, yeah. Do you have a picture of that pneumatic hammer?
Jackhammer.
Well, yeah, but that's pretty modern.
Well, it's the same thing. Like I looked up this article here, and that was the best photograph I got. But there is a come on, why can't I click it? There we go. Images. Basically this.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm getting. So
yeah,
it's all.
Yeah.
It's
they don't have anything of the original or that old, that far back.
Yeah, maybe there were no blueprints. Although it says patented, so it must have
have to have blueprints.
Yeah. 1894, the U.S. flag was fired in Rio, prompting satisfaction exacted by Adam Benham.
What does that mean, fired?
It was fired on, like somebody shot the flag.
Yeah.
So, 1895, C.J. Eady of Tasmania was the first Australian to score twin centuries versus Victoria. All right. We also have the SS Elbe sank after a collision in the North Sea, losing 332 people. Yikes. Tasmania beat Victoria for first FC victory in 41 years. So this ties in with that, actually. So let me...
Tasmania's been busy here.
Yeah. Well, both of those were cricket.
I know.
1902, Britain and Japan signed a treaty after months of negotiating, which committed each country to supporting an independent China and Korea, although it acknowledged Japan's special interest in Korea. Yep, the first Anglo-Japanese alliance was signed in London. So that's what this was. Mm-hmm. That's kind of ominous, although it acknowledges Japan's special interest in Korea.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, well, we're actually going to be talking about that here, but first we have 1903. The Imperial Library first opened to the public in Calcutta, which is now the National Library of India, the country's largest library. Mm-hmm. Look at this building. Hold on a second.
It's huge.
Yeah, I would love to go see that, just to see it.
Yeah.
And then go in it, of course, but like, what a magnificent structure. Actually, let me see if I can find any other photos of it really quick, because... You know me, I'm a sucker for architecture. Oh, look at that staircase.
Oh, man.
If it loads, there we go. Open. Is it going to give me
exhausted by the time you get in. You can't even find your book. You're so damn tired.
Yeah. Although this one looks vastly different.
Yeah, inside.
Ah. Nice. That is beautiful. Anyway. 1907, Korean national debt redemption movement started by Seo Sang-dong of Daegu, attempt by the Korean public to repay debt to Japan to avoid further colonization. Yikes. 1908, Indian pacifist and leader Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was released from prison by G&C Smuts after being tried and sentenced to 2 months in jail earlier in the month. He was always constantly getting himself in trouble. Because of his protests and all of his, civil rights and everything that he was doing. And it's a real shame because we will be talking about Gandhi one more time, but it's not a good time. 1911, the first rescue of an air passenger by a ship near Havana, Cuba. It says here the destroyer USS Terry made the first airplane rescue at sea, saving the life of Douglas McCurdy 10 miles or 16 kilometers from Havana, Cuba. All right. And I guess they use the helicopter, with the rope thing to pluck them out of the ocean. Actually, helicopters weren't invented in 1911. What the hell? Hold on a second.
Came along with a hook.
Well, that is a real thing. You ever heard of the skyhook?
Yeah.
So you're familiar with the skyhook?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
So I'm not talking about the helicopter.
What are you talking about?
About the action of plucking somebody off the ground into the air.
Okay, with a skyhook.
Well, yeah, with an airplane. Hold on a second.
A skyhook is an airplane? That I'm not familiar with.
Well, a skyhook is the name of a helicopter, I believe. But what is this? How to leave any place in 1 second. So,
people from any place on Earth in just a few seconds, the so-called skyhook system was developed in the 1950s.
Did you know about
During
this?
World War II, it had become apparent that suitable landing strips were not always available when secret agents or special forces had to be evacuated from remote regions.
Thing, so that's why
Helicopters could land on small areas, but did not provide the necessary range of an airplane. That's where creative engineers came up with the skyhook system. With this method,
I am surprised. It's not that common, known of a knowledge. Like actually,
I think the skyhook still applies to a helicopter.
Well, no, like it is the name of a helicopter because it's like a crane in the, or actually no, not a skyhook, a sky crane.
Sky crane, okay.
Well, anyway, moving on up to year to 1911 as well, the Canadian Naval Service became the Royal Canadian Navy. All right. 1920, Mazda, starting as a Japanese cork producing company, was founded later to switch to making cars.
What did they start with?
A cork producing company.
You did say cork.
Cork, yeah, like a wine cork,
Yeah.
And I got my thumb. This thumb was stuck in a door in a Mazda, like when I was a kid. I lost my thumbnail and everything.
Yeah.
Actually, like if you look, like the streaks are different on my thumbs. You see, on the nails. No.
You're all thumbs.
Yep. 1922, World Law Day was first celebrated. Why would anybody celebrate laws? 1924, Gillis Grafstrom of Sweden won men's figure skating gold medal at the Chamonix Winter Olympics. Pardon me. The first to successfully defend his Summer Olympic title in 1920 at the Winter Games. 1924, Great Britain clinched inaugural Olympic curling gold medal with a 46-4 win over France at the Chamonix Games. Wow, 46-4.
Now, do you know what curling is?
Yeah, that's the you throw the thing and they have the little brooms. Because I was going to make a joke. They really swept the floor with them, didn't they? We also have Norway's Thorleif Haug claimed the first of 3 gold medals at the Chamonix Winter Olympics. Won 50K cross country in a Norwegian sweep of the medals. Also 18K and the Nordic combined champion. When we were talking about the amount of stamina these people have, it was a lot more common back in the day. And see, this is weird because back then these weren't really professionals. These were amateurs and everything. And nowadays, you have all these high-paid, multi-million-dollar, professionals that only do one sport. Meanwhile, you have these people doing multiple. Like, you could sit there and see the same guy doing cross-country, and you see him in, like, the 80-meter dash or something. It's like, hey, I remember him. Like,
not real often, but, yeah, they could do 3 or 4 different... they entered in 3 or 4 different events, yeah.
But do they compete in 3 or 4 different events?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, they do? Because I don't really watch so I don't know if they do.
Yeah, they do still.
Okay.
They can, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, we do have pentathletes.
Like speed skating.
Yeah.
You'll find a guy in there for maybe he's in the 500 and then he's in the
1,000
mile or without, 1,500.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they're competing in different events.
All right. We also have Ponsford scored second 110 of the game in Victoria win over New South Wales. Okay. 1925, Turkish government threw out Constantine VI of Constantinople. Why? They threw him out of Istanbul. It's just so I see. That's weird. It says here from the other source, the government of Turkey expelled Patriarch Constantine VI from Istanbul. Now, Constantinople was renamed Istanbul. Or was this when it happened? Because they threw out Constantine, and it was named Constantinople, so they're throwing him out. Was this a takeover?
Could have been. It looks like the way the secondary one's saying it, it could be.
Yeah. 1928, the first radio telephone connection between Netherlands and the U.S. All right. And then Eugene O'Neill's play Strange Interlude premiered in New York City. What a strange interlude. 1930, Russia launched their first radio sonde, a battery-powered telemetry instrument carried into the atmosphere to measure various parameters and transmit them by radio to a ground receiver from Pavlovsk, USSR. And this is not a photo of it, but this is what that is. It's basically like a weather balloon type thing. So, 1930 as well, the Politburo of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union ordered 1 million prosperous peasant families to be driven off their farms. And it says here the confiscations of lands belonging to the kulaks in the campaign of dekolonization, resulting in the executions and forced deportations of millions. And you brought this up the other day about how the commies did all this to all the people that they said that they were going to save.
Yeah.
Remember, like, all their various, like, pogroms and genocides and whatnot. 1931, City Lights, a U.S. silent romantic comedy film directed by Charlie Chaplin, starring himself and Virginia Sherrill, premiered at the Los Angeles Theater.
Well, I'll be darned.
Yep.
I didn't know he directed some things.
Oh, yeah. No, he had his own film company and everything. Yeah, he was a director.
Obviously.
Yep. 1933, The Lone Ranger began a 21-year run on ABC radio, and it was also the first radio broadcast of The Lone Ranger on WXYZ in Detroit, Michigan.
And then it went on to be a TV series after that.
And several movies.
Yeah.
1933, after Paul von Hindenburg appointed Adolf Hitler as Chancellor of Germany, his former World War I colleague, General Heinrich Ludendorff, sent a letter to him stating, quote, "This accursed man will cast our Reich into the abyss and bring our nation to inconceivable misery," end quote. How right he was. 1933, President Paul von Hindenburg appointed Adolf Hitler. We got that one? Yeah, we already got that one here. Who forms a government with Franz von Papen. So let me add that one to here. So I don't know why I didn't catch that. 1934, we have the first theatrical presentation sponsored by the U.S. government in New York City. That sounds like propaganda to me.
First what? Theatrical what?
Just any theatrical presentation, and it was sponsored by the U.S. government, whatever it was.
Okay.
You know, it was a theatrical presentation. Could have been cats, could have been hair.
Yeah.
I don't know. 1934 as well, Adolf Hitler's proclamation on German unified states. And then we have Ezra Pound in 1935 met Benito Mussolini, read from a draft of Cantos. I don't know who Ezra Pound is. Oh, it's a guy. Okay. 1936, new owners of baseball's Boston Braves survey newspaper journalists to pick a new team nickname known as Bees in 1940, but returned to Braves in 1941. All right. So did you know that they had a brief name change there?
Yeah, somewhere I do back there.
Yeah, from the Braves to the Bees and back to the Braves. 1939, Adolf Hitler threatened Jews during a speech to the German Reichstag, the parliament. He made a prediction about the end of the Jewish race in Europe if another world war were to occur. Well, he tried.
Yeah.
1939 as well, heavy aftershocks destroyed some of Chile. 1940 has that second 122 of the game for Victoria can't stop a New South Wales win. Okay. 42, Japanese troops landed on the island Ambon, part of the Dutch East Indies. Allied forces surrendered February 3rd. So it says here from the other source, Japanese forces invaded the island of Ambon in the Dutch East Indies. Some 300 captured Allied troops were murdered after the surrender.
Whoa.
At the end of the war, only 25% of the POWs were still alive.
Yikes.
Well, Japan were ruthless, man.
Yeah.
1943, members of the Dutch Protestant resistance against the German occupation began publishing underground newspaper Turo, or Loyal, in the Netherlands. While that was going on, during World War II, 6 British mosquito planes bombed Berlin, Germany in daylight. That's ballsy.
Yeah.
Mosquito planes. British mosquito planes.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about, mosquito planes.
They have to be small.
They must have been swarming.
Must have been just like well, it's only 3, or it's only 6. Well, these don't look that small. But you only had 6 of those, and you're bombing them in daylight. That sounds like a suicide mission.
I wonder how many got back.
It is a good question. If anybody can figure that out, let us know in the comment section. 1943 as well, World War II, Adolf Hitler promoted Friedrich Paulus, commander of the 6th Army, to Field Marshal in the hope that he will not surrender. And I think that was the guy who was in Stalingrad. Because he did that as a power move. So that way, both sides were really, fighting hard for Stalingrad. But both sides did really awful things. So, anyway, 1945, U.S. Rangers and Filipino resistance fighters liberated over 500 Allied POWs from Japanese at Cabo Datan. Says 126 U.S. Rangers and Filipino resistance fighters liberated over 500 Allied prisoners from the Japanese-controlled Cabudatuan POW camp. 45 as well, German passenger ship Wilhelm Gustaf torpedoed off Danzig by a Soviet submarine, killing about 9,000 people, the world's greatest maritime disaster. Jeez. And from the other source here, it says... The Wilhelm Gustave, overfilled with German refugees, sunk in the Baltic Sea after having been hit by a torpedo by a Soviet submarine, causing the deaths of approximately 9,500 people. So we have a 500 people discrepancy, but still, wild. 1946, the first issue of the Franklin D. Roosevelt died. Okay. Yeah. 1948, Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated in the garden of the New Delhi home while he was visiting by Hindu extremist Nathuram Godse. It says here, following the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi in his home compound, India's Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru broadcasted to the nation saying, quote, "The light has gone out of our lives," end quote. This date is now observed as Martyrs' Day in India. So, rest in peace, Mahatma Gandhi. 1948, the 5th Winter Olympic Games opened in St. Moritz, Switzerland. 1951, Belgium refused to allow communists to make speeches on radio. Once again, this brings up the whole debate. They should have the right to talk, but if they had the power, they would not give us the right to talk. So do they deserve the right to talk if they're willing? No, I say no. If they're willing to take away other people's rights, they should not be granted any.
But as soon as you have someone in power that makes those decisions, you're no better than they are.
Well,
because maybe they're making decisions that you don't believe in.
Well, have you ever heard of the concept of dead right? Well, I'd rather be alive wrong than dead right. So
that's not my point, though.
Well, my point is, if the shoe was on the other foot, they for sure would not give us any rights.
Yes, but you're doing the same thing they are. You're no better.
Okay, well, I'm still losing here.
I don't know what you're losing, but
well, I'm losing. Losing rights. If somebody's willing to take away rights of somebody else, they should not have any rights to begin with. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, 1951, 1952, U.S. mathematician D.H. Lemmer and computer programmer R.M. Robinson verified 2 to the power of 521 minus 1 and 2 to the power of 607 minus 1 as Mercenine prime numbers using U.S. National Bureau of Standards Western Automatic Computers, SWAC, and the Institute for Numerical Analysis at the University of California, Los Angeles. Okay. 1954, Belgium ended a trade agreement with the USSR. Okay. 56, Elvis Presley recorded his cover version of Carl Perkins' song Blue Suede Shoes.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. 1956, home of Martin Luther.
Do you know what the flip side of that 45 was? A 45 is a single.
The flip side of 45, the Blue Suede Shoes.
Yeah. And they have a primary side and a second side on all those records. I'll just tell you. He ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Ah, okay. 1956, the home of Martin Luther King Jr. was bombed. And it says here from the other source, the United States Civil Rights Movement leader Martin Luther King Jr.'s home was bombed in retaliation for the Montgomery bus boycott. Now, I remember back in 2020, 2021, or 2022, there's that camera footage of that. It was a black BLM supporter person. It was a woman. And she was trying to set fire to the Martin Luther King house. And she was caught on video surveillance. And the police interrogated her. She was trying to set up a fictitious event to blame white people burning down, so blacks can have, when the demand for racism outweighs the supply by 1,000-to-1, then these people have to make up their own bullshit to justify their mentality. They're hateful. They're evil. 1957, U.S. Congress accepted Eisenhower Doctrine. U.S. offered aid to an Arab country threatened with communist aggression. All right. 1 year later, the first two-way moving sidewalk went into service in Dallas, Texas. So basically, like a conveyor belt thing.
Yeah. Like in the airports.
Yeah. 1958, MLB Commissioner Ford Frick announced that players and coaches, rather than fans, will vote on selections for the All-Star Game. Vote returned to the fans in 1970.
Yeah, that didn't last.
Why not?
Well, they wanted fans to be involved.
Yeah.
So then that translates to eyeballs on TV and purchase of tickets over there.
Very true. Very true. 1958 as well, UK House of Lords passed a bill allowing women to take seats. Good. Absolutely. 59, Danish ocean liner HS Hans Hetoff sunk on a maiden voyage after striking an iceberg off the coast of Greenland, causing the death of 95 people. It was specifically designed to operate in icebound seas.
Wow.
So it was designed to take hits, and it took a hit and it died. Well, that's a whoopsie. 1960, African National Party was founded in Chad through the merger of transitionalist parties. Okay. 1960, CIA okayed the Lockheed to produce a new U-2 aircraft, the Oxcart. Let's take a look at that. U-2 aircraft, Oxcart.
I've heard of the U-2, but...
Oh, okay. Lockheed A-12.
Oh, no. That's not the U-2.
Well, no, like, this is what I'm getting. This is probably what it became. Oh, here it is. Okay, you're right. It is its own separate thing. Then why am I getting, like, the SR-71s? Yeah, I remember this one. This is a high-altitude spy plane.
Yeah.
Wasn't this the one that was shot down?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Russians shot it down. They thought they couldn't... They were too high. They couldn't do anything about it, and they shot it down.
Yeah.
We didn't know they had that technology.
Yeah. 1960s, well, Dutch Communist Trade Union, EVC 58, disbanded. Okay. You know, Communist Trade Union. That doesn't sound like it's going to work. You know? 1961, JFK asked for an Alliance for Progress and Peace Corps, a $20 billion U.S. aid program for Latin America. All right.
Peace Corps, yeah.
1962, two members of Flying Walinda's High Wire Act were killed when their seven-person pyramid collapsed during a performance in Detroit.
Oh, man.
That's awful.
The Flying Walindas.
Yep. 1962 as well, a laughter epidemic began at a girls' mission school in Kanasha, Tanganyika, went on to affect 14 schools and over 1,000 people. Now, remember I was talking with you yesterday about random happenings throughout history of spontaneous things that just manifested, affected a lot of people, and then just went away overnight, and nobody can figure out what the hell is happening? Yeah. This is one of the instances. Yeah. This is the laughter epidemic, but one of the most famous ones is a dance plague. So, a little interesting how, you know, like, I don't remember the exact year it was, but one day later, you know, they're two different events, two different calendar dates, years apart, possibly hundreds, you know, or thousands, but still, that's kind of interesting. 1962, UN General Assembly censored Portugal over Angola. That's not good. 1 year later, Ivan Sutherland submitted a thesis containing his Sketchpad program, a forerunner to modern-day graphic user interfaces and computer-aided design programs. Nice. 64 as well, Ranger 6 was launched, made the perfect flight to the moon, but cameras failed. It's kind of suspicious. Almost seems like they're making it up, you know? 1965, the state funeral for Winston Churchill at St. Paul's Cathedral in London, at the time the world's largest ever state funeral. Yep. 1968, Viet Cong and North Vietnamese forces launched the Tet Offensive against South Vietnamese and U.S. forces. Yeah. The NVA, yep. 69 as well, the Beatles performed their last live gig, a 42-minute concert on the roof of Apple Corps in headquarters in London, England. It was an impromptu concert which took place on the roof. It was broken up by the police. 1969, U.S.-Canada ISIS was, or ISIS-1 was launched to study the ionosphere. And in 72, we have Bloody Sunday. 27 unarmed civilians were shot. 14 were killed by the British Army during a civil rights march in Derry, Northern Ireland. The highest death toll from a single shooting incident during the Troubles. All because Britain cannot let go of the last thing they have in what was their world conquest. 1972, Pakistan withdrew from the Commonwealth of Nations in protest of its recognition of breakaway Bangladesh. Well, you get rid of this here.
They don't like Bangladesh.
Well, Bangladesh, it says here, breakaway Bangladesh. So Bangladesh apparently broke away from Pakistan. And then because the Commonwealth of Nations recognized it, Pakistan's just like, oh, well, you know what, fuck you. So, 1973, jury found Watergate defendants Liddy and McCord guilty on all counts of conspiracy, burglary, and illegal wiretapping.
Yeah, Watergate.
Yep. We also have the rock band Kiss played its first show at the Coventry Club in Queens, New York. Now, did you know Kiss has a little person group called Smooch? No, seriously, it's like 5 midgets dressed up as Kiss, and they're supposed to be little Kiss. I like to call them Smooch.
So what year is this again? When they played
this
their
is
first concert?
1973. But no, let me show you right here. They're little people. But no, they're a legit band. They get on stage and they rock out. And here we have Kiss with Smooch. So, 1975, Erno Rubik applied for a patent for his magic cube invention, later to be known as a Rubik's Cube. Spoke about that yesterday. 1975 as well, the Monitor National Marine Sanctuary was established as the first United States National Marine Sanctuary. Okay. 77, the 8th and final part of Roots was the most watched U.S. entertainment show with over 100 million viewers.
Wow.
Yes.
And it should have had all those people. It's
yes.
great.
Yep. 78, Eddie Ross and Jerry McPhail were elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Who?
Eddie Joss and Larry McPhail. McPhail?
No, I don't know.
1978, Mutual Broadcasting Network began airing the late-night Larry King Show on radio from Miami, Florida. 365 days later, Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, agrees to a new constitution. We also have a varied Boeing 707 323C freighter flown by the same commander as Flight 820 disappeared over the Pacific Ocean 30 minutes after taking off from Tokyo. That's not good. I wonder if they ever found it. 82, Richard Skrenta wrote the first PC virus code, which is 400 lines long and disguised as an Apple boot program called Elk Cloner. It's just all this technology there. Which, by the way, massive warning and heads up to all you viewers, including us and everything. Criminals are now walking around carrying jammers, like Wi-Fi jammers, signal jammers, phone jammers, and all that stuff. They're not that expensive. They're relatively small, and what they're doing is they go up and they jam the Wi-Fi signal, which disables your Ring camera phone. Like if you have like a Ring camera or any one of those little doorbell camera things, those are for the most part reliant on a Wi-Fi signal. If you jam the Wi-Fi, you disable the camera.
I see.
It's over.
Yeah.
Unless you have like a hardwired CCTV or something, like how a convenience store has, and no wireless signal. You need hardwire, but even then, they can have jammers. They can have mild EMP broadcasters and everything. So, and these are just random criminals. These are not like master criminals. These are just average Joes on the streets. Yeah. The technology is out there, so there is no such thing as security anymore. Be wary out there. 1989, U.S. Olympic diving silver medalist Bruce Kimball was sentenced to 17 years in prison for killing 2 teenagers in a drunk driving accident, serving only 4 years. He should have been executed. 1989, 5 pharaoh sculptures from 1470 BC were found in the Temple of Luxor. Nice. And subsequently taken to Britain because, as the saying goes, the pyramids are only in Egypt because they're too big for the British to take. 1989, Joel Steinberg was found guilty of first-degree manslaughter of daughter. Yikes. So same year, we have 2 people convicted of murder. This guy and this guy. We also have the American Embassy in Kabul, Afghanistan was closed. And then 1990, LA center Wayne Gretzky set an NHL record by scoring his 100th point of the season for the 11th straight season. Milestone came with an assist in a 5-2 Kings win over visiting New Jersey Devils. 1992, inventor Ray Kurzweil published his first book, The Age of Intelligent Machines, on artificial intelligence, predicting the popularity of the interest. Wow, that's yeah.
Over 30 years ago?
Very topical for today. 1993, 100,000 Europeans demonstrated against fascism and racism, as they should. And 94, Kapil Dev took 241 as India beat Sri Lanka by an innings and 95 runs in second cricket test in Bengaluru, equals Sir Richard Hadley's world record of 431 test wickets. Cool. 1994, Peter Lecco became the youngest chess grandmaster. 1994, Peter Lepigo. Where is he? Oh, well, it's not telling me.
I would have thought Bobby Fischer was.
Well, he was one of the greats, but Peter Lecchio, born in 1979. So let's see here, 79 minus 94. Actually, 94 minus 79 minus. He was 15. Wow, impressive. And look at him.
Yeah.
He looks like a chess grandmaster. he looks like he can also fit in a locker very well. 1995, Norway's Statoil announced a newly formed consortium that will supply Norwegian natural gas to the European continent. All right. And we also have workers from the National Institutes of Health announced the success of clinical trials testing the first preventative treatment for sickle cell disease, utilizing hydroxycarbamide. Hydroxycarbamide. Okay? Commander of the 5th U.S. Fleet, or of the U.S. 5th Fleet, Scott Redd, stated that Iran test-fired a new anti-ship missile near the Strait of Hormuz. That's an eyebrow raiser right there. 1996, future basketball Hall of Famer Magic Johnson came out of a 5-year retirement, helped the LA Lakers to a 128-118 win over the Golden State at the Great Western Forum with 19 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists. Thank you, Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
We also have Gino Gallagher, the suspected leader of the Irish National Liberation Army, was killed while waiting in line for his unemployment benefits. That is hilarious. Oh my God. The irony in that. A suspected leader of the Irish National Liberation, so he's a potential terrorist, but he's still cashing in the unemployment check. I mean, you know, you could have all the morals and God on your side, but man, money makes you change things, doesn't it? Couldn't even stand by his own ethics, got himself killed. What a dumbass, if he was the leader of it. 1993, Minuteman III launches. Okay. That's a ballistic missile.
Yeah.
Minuteman. 2002, Utah's Karl Malone became the second player in NBA history to register 34,000 career points by scoring 18 in a 90-78 win over Chicago at the Delta Center. Trails only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who has 38,387 points.
The other day, he passed Wilt Chamberlain.
So
now he's passed Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay.
I mean, he had 2 in front of him. Now he's just got 1.
Kareem. Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, so Kareem still is number 1.
Yeah.
But this guy, Karl Malone, still has a chance.
This is a long time ago. Karl Malone doesn't play anymore.
Oh, I don't know.
But he passed Wilt Chamberlain to get the number 2 spot.
Okay. 2005, Denmark's Queen Margrethe unveiled a monument at North Atlantic Wharf, Copenhagen, to the 95 people lost on MS Hans Hedretoft. I want to look up that monument if there is one. See here. I guess this is it, just on the ground. I guess so. Okay. Anyway, 2006, the Goleta postal facility shootings occurred, killing 7 people before the perpetrator took her own life.
Never heard of that.
The whole term "going postal." 2007, Microsoft Corporation released Windows Vista, a major release of the operating system Microsoft Windows and the NT-based kernel. And I actually have a...
So I recall Vista kind of bombed.
Oh, yes. Actually, I have a... Actually, why don't I have it anymore? I guess I deleted it. Hold on a second, because I did have a video for this. IT Crowd Vista. Here. This one. Here.
Hello, Jen!
Really quick.
You have to move, Roy.
So they're at basically they're walking down the street and they didn't realize until they were around top of it, but there was a mysterious package there, and then there's a bomb disposal robot, and they're just like, we should move.
I'm just having a couple of problems with it.
What kind of operating system does it use?
It's Vista.
We're going to die.
The IT Crowd, I love that show. 2013, South Korea successfully launched its rocket Naro 1, which was carrying a scientific satellite. It was the first rocket carrier launched by South Korea. So, their first thing. 2015, Shake Shack, founded by Danny Meyer, first listed on the New York Stock Exchange. All right.
Who's Danny Meyer?
The founder of Shake Shack.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You've heard of Shake Shack.
Yeah, of course.
2017, scientists in central China reveal the oldest known human ancestor at 540 million year old Saccharomyces fossil. So they found the fossil and identified it. 2018, Houston forward James Harden put up the highest scoring triple-double in NBA history. 60 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists as the Rockets beat Orlando Magic 114-107 in Houston. We have in 2019, continuous 24-hour church mass lasting 97 days to prevent deportation of Armenian asylum seekers ended after Dutch authorities reconsidered at Protestant Bethel Church in The Hague. No, get him the hell out of there! You know? 2019, Peter Paul Rubens' 1608 drawing, nude study of young man with raised arms, sold for $8.2 million at auction in New York. And I'm not going to image search this because I do not want to see the nude study of any man. And so, 2019, Russian Senator Rauf Ashernikov was arrested within Parliament on 2 murder charges. Really interesting. There's so much murder happening today. Like, we had those 2 people indicted. This guy's arrested. Then we had that postal worker. What is happening? Scientists reveal discovery of cavity 6 miles long, 1,000 feet deep under Thawettis Glacier in West Antarctica, leading to fears it might collapse and raise sea levels by 2 feet. All right. 2020, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a public health emergency of international concern at a meeting in Geneva. This is when it started. So, all the bullshit.
They would not blame the Chinese, though.
No, they have to blame the white man. So, 2022, Kurdish-led militia and American forces regained control of Sina prison in Haska, Syria, after a week-long assault by ISIS fighters with a loss of 500 lives. And while that was going on, Portugal's ruling Socialist Party, headed by Prime Minister Antonio Costa, won an unexpected outright majority in country's snap election. Oh, what a coincidence. A Socialist Party winning. 2023, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky claimed that Russia has begun its big revenge with assaults around Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine after a couple months of stalemate. I haven't heard much about this guy in a while, actually. I forgot about him.
Who is that?
Zelensky. This piece of shit.
That's not Zelensky, is it?
Yeah,
I guess it is.
Volodymyr.
It doesn't look like him.
Actor, comedian, and president of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like him for some. Maybe I'm too far away. Anyways, don't worry about it.
Bigger this. He has a very punchable face. 2024, around 400 people have died due to drought-induced starvation in Ethiopia's Tigray and Amhara regions, confirmed local authorities, raising fears of famine. That is unfortunate. Then we have former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan, already in jail on corruption charges, sentenced to a further 10 years for leaking state secrets. You know what? That's wild, because I remember, I didn't really do this show much in 2025, 2024. The past several years, I've been focusing on gaming and all that jazz. So, and I remember liking this guy, cricketer and Prime Minister of Pakistan. He was a cricketer, and then he became Prime Minister, but then he became corrupt. So I can't support him anymore, son of a gun. Just last year, former U.S. Senator Bob Menendez of New Jersey received an 11-year prison sentence for his conviction of bribery while in office. France closed its last military base in Chad 2 months after the former French colony ended their defense cooperation agreement. And, last but not least, global planetary defense procedures triggered for the first time after 100-meter asteroid 2024 YR4 was found to have a 1.3% chance of hitting Earth in 2032. So,
yeah, there's been conversation on that.
Yeah. But that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description for any links that you may be interested in, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. A lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis, and we can only bring you a portion of what went on, from 2 sources. So please, go out there and educate yourself. History is amazing. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you, until you catch us, next time. We stream every day at 5 p.m. Pacific time, which is 6 Mountain, 7 Central, 8 p.m. and Eastern Standard Time, respectively. Don't forget